Psalm 95. Come, let us sing to Yahweh. Let's shout to the rock of our salvation. Let's come before his presence with thanksgiving and extol him with songs. For Yahweh is a great God, a great King above all gods. In his hand are the deep places of the earth. The heights of the mountains are his. The sea is his, he made it. His hands formed the dry land. Come, let's worship and bow down and kneel before Yahweh, our Maker. For he is our God, and we are his people, the sheep in his care. Today, oh, that you would hear his voice. Don't harden your heart, as at Meribah, as in the day of Massah in the wilderness, when your fathers tempted me and tested me and saw my work. 40 long years I was grieved with that generation and said, it is a people that errs in their heart. They have not known my ways. Therefore I swore in my wrath, they will not enter my rest. Okay, so we have entered now into a series of 6 Psalms in a row, which someone called, one of the commentators called these songs for the Sabbath. Now that sounds kind of dull, but basically these are songs for when you go to church. When you think about the Psalms, you probably think, oh, these are like songs that we're going to sing in church. And but when you start going through the Psalms, you realize that lots of Psalms are not really that type of a song. Like we went through Psalm 78 not long ago, and it was a huge, big, long psalm with all these verses recounting the whole history of Israel. It's not the type of song you'd sing in church. But these songs now, the next 6 Psalms, Psalm 95 all the way through to 100, are exactly the type of songs that you would sing in church. So this one here starts by saying, come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. And we've actually sung, this is a song that we sing in church sometimes. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. That's a song that if you've grown up in church, you would have sung that song. So this psalm and all the ones that follow, these next 6 have been called by some people songs for the Sabbath, or in other words, these are just praise and worship songs for singing in church. And so we're now in the Psalms that are really, really Psalms. These are Psalm-like Psalms, because they're just the exact type of thing you would sing if you went to church. And so that opening line says, let us shout to the rock of our salvation. And if you think about a rock, it's something that you cannot move. You can stand on, think of a giant rock, and you're on the thing and you're not moved. Well, that's our God, and that's our salvation. What he has done for us is so unmoving and so permanent. Our salvation is unchanging, and it's worth singing about. So these are songs of praise. And we get down to verse 7, and it says, he is our God, and we are his people, the sheep in his care. So, these are things worth singing about, that we are his people, and he is our God. Isn't that wonderful? And he's a great God. He's the God of all. He's not like the gods that other people worship. He's not like the idols that people make. He's not a made-up God like some people have. He's an unmade God. He's our creator. So these are terrific songs of high praise. So the first 7 verses are all very positive, but then all of a sudden it goes strange. Verses 8 through to 11 seem to suddenly be very negative. They say, don't harden your heart like the Israelites did. And God was not pleased with them for 40 years. They tempted me and, I rejected them and they will not enter into my rest. So the verses seem all negative all of a sudden, but actually it's the exact illustration of the opposite of what we were just singing. We were just singing praise about how wonderful our God was, but those Israelites, they saw how wonderful God was, but didn't trust him. And as a result, they didn't enter into his rest. Rest actually is the word Sabbath. And Sabbath, was having a day of rest. You work 6 days and you had a day of rest. And but rest or Sabbath in the New Testament is the idea that we don't have to earn our salvation. We don't have to work for our salvation. It's given to us as a gift. But if you don't trust in God, if you haven't seen the wonders that he's done, you will be tempted to work yourself. You'll be tempted to put God to the test and not believe him, and therefore you will fail to enter into rest. And so this psalm's a great psalm of praise about how wonderful our God is and all he's done, but at the same time showing us, but be careful, because if you don't realize how wonderful our God is, you will fail to enter into rest because you'll be left having to work for your own salvation. So it's a song about praise, and it's a song about salvation. Let us sing to the rock of our salvation, but be careful not to try to earn your own salvation. Lord, thank you that you've saved us. And it wasn't because we were good enough. It wasn't because we worked hard enough or we could earn it or we deserve it. But thank you that Christ deserved it. Christ earned it. Christ worked for it. Christ paid for it. Thank you, Lord, for the rock of our salvation, Jesus Christ.